Hello, everybody. It's Becky Mossberger here with the Stronger Together Tribe podcast. And today we have Mercedes with us. We're going to talk about positive parenting and some things that we can do better as parents. We're going to get into another topic next month with Mercedes, but today it's positive parenting. So, welcome back, Mercedes. Appreciate you coming back on with us.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy working with you.
Oh, thank you. So, I wanted to touch on some parenting things. So, this has come up in my family in particular recently, and some other friends have grown adult children who, are having some issues with their kids, and now they're starting to kind of wonder what to do. So, I know that you have experience in this, so I wanted to see if you could just touch on real quick. Um, where your experience comes from, and then I'll ask you some questions. How about that?
Sure. Um, I was introduced to parent education in 2004. At some point during 2004, a colleague of mine asked me if I will be willing to go for a recruitment process through that was happening at a parent education institute. And I was like, what do you mean by what is parent education? So he told me, listen, this is an institute. They're going to train. They were looking for a specific kind of professionals to get certified as a parent educator. And I was like, I have no knowledge whatsoever about what you're talking about. He's like, come and join me. I've been doing this for 7 years or 10 years. And I'm like, you what? So I went and sat on this at the opening or the open house session, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the concept because parent education is something that it's so needed. I tell my parents when they come to my workshops or seminars that you have a baby, and the nurse is like, here's your baby, congratulations, and there you go. And there's no manual, no instructions, and you have a way of 18 years of let me see if this is gonna work,
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult and it's so unknown. Most people don't know about parent education. So anyway, back in the days, I went through the training. I got certified. I started teaching for parents with kids in elementary school. Then they moved me up to teach parents with kids in middle school, and then I made it all the way to high school. So you have completed the K-12 training, right? So I fell in love with the concept and the work because every time, and I tell this to my parents day to day, every time I close my computer, every time I give a talk in person, every time I'm interacting with anyone, I know that the information I'm giving out, the information I'm channeling in to them, it's going to be beneficial not only for them, for the kids and their family. So it's rewarding. That's what I do it. People ask me most of the time, what do you do it? What's the reason behind? And I'm like, because it's rewarding. Because I know that the information I'm given, it's going to be beneficial in the life of a child, and that is worth it, and it's going to benefit the parents as well. So that's the main reason why I do it. Every time I have moved, every time I have joined a different institution, the approach they give to the parent education um, instructions, it's very unique, whether you're in a different state or a different institution or a different setting, to the point that I develop my own curriculum. So I just compile the experience and the cases and my own work and put it in paper. So that's my work right now. So that's my positive parenting. And when I talk about positive parenting, it's based on the core of values that you could implement at home,
Oh,
which is,
nice.
yeah, because it's something, that's what I love it, because it's something that it's for everybody. In every case, you just have to give yourself the opportunity to try it. And positive parenting is based on love, nurturing, and care. You need to love that child. You need to nurture the environment, and you need to care about the life of that child. And if you have those three elements as a base, you can build from there up, and it's gonna benefit you, because the environment you're gonna raise that child is gonna benefit you and them at the same time. So it's a win-win kind of situation. That's why.
So let me ask you this. A couple of things. I have adult friends, one in particular that I'm thinking of,
Mhm.
who saw some very bad things happen in her house when she was little. Um, it happened for a while, and then one day it all just came to a head, and she was minus one parent after this last situation. How do you tell kids if they come to you for counseling, or anybody for that matter, and they tell you they've had this traumatic home life experience? How do you help them talk about their experience, or is that if it were something that drastic, would you just let them talk about it, whatever? And do you like report things to the police? Can you do that? Or are you like held to
Yeah.
secrecy, like you can't tell
uh
things like that? Or
yeah. A few things. I don't counsel. I'm not a counselor. I'm a parent, educator, provider. I can
gotcha,
advise parents. I do
gotcha.
not attend. Kids don't come. Actually, they're not allowed in these classes.
Okay,
In any
okay,
of my seminars, there can I kids are not allowed,
okay,
because what you said. When I deal with parents, we deal with a lot of backgrounds. Um, every family is it's very unique. There, you are never going to find two families that
mhm,
are totally identical to each other. That's never going to happen. So, but coming back to what you asked me, well, I don't counsel. I'm not a counsel for that. If something, but I'll talk about childhood trauma, toxicity in the house, and
okay,
how I approach that situation. Um, I network and work with a lot of clinicians and professionals that I can refer to if you need to. Child abuse um, has to be reported in Virginia.
good.
If at some point, yeah, by law, I need to report child abuse if that's the case. Uh, Most of the seminars and workshops and talks tend to be confidential depending on the subject, but because I want the parents to feel that they have a safety net, and you can address whatever situation you want to talk about. So we keep it confidential. So whatever we talk during the classes or the seminars or workshops are going to remain confidential, because I want people to feel safe. Coming back to what happened if at some point somebody was a witness of X, Y, or Z. How do you handle this? There is different ways to handle it. I can tell them, hey, you need to, I think it will be recommended to go see somebody. you should talk that with a professional. There are, if there's domestic violence involved, there are organizations for numbers you can reach out to. Now, if we just stick with the how can we work around toxicity in the household, which is a sensitive matter, and that's why kids are not allowed in any of my classes, because like I told you before, parent education is for the parents, for them to improve the way they're raising their kids, or if they have anything they need to talk to or they want to deal to. One of the hottest topics is co-parenting,
Mhm.
whether you're together or you're separated. But I'm going to come
Yeah.
back to the toxicity, because that's something that every single parent that come to my workshops or seminars or court order classes, they told the main question is, how can I improve the co-parenting situation with the other person? But we'll talk about it later. So when you have toxicity in the household, um, whether it's related to domestic abuse, family violence, I take the time to talk about how to improve the environment,
Good.
which takes me back to the core value of positive parenting. And I'll tell you this example. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk about two situations, and the root of why I name what I do or my work positive parenting. Um, I'm sure you have heard, you have read, you have seen, you have watched news about this athlete, this model, this famous person that was born in this difficult situation and was exposed to A, B, and C. But at some point in their life, they made a transition from that environment to a caring, loving, and nurturing place. How? They were adopted. They were placed with a family member. The grandparents were given legal guardianship of those kids. And that transition is what's causing the neuroplasticity process in their brain to happen. Neuroplasticity is the capacity that our brains have to self heal. We human beings, and when I talk about remember the books, I go to the schools and I talk to the kids and I tell them, you guys always are going to remember Chick-fil-A, but you're never going to remember your mom telling you you gotta eat vegetables and fruits. Why? Because we human animals tend to stick with the good and delete what we don't want storage. That's a process that happens in our brain as long as you have a working brain. That is called neuroplasticity. I started working with neuroplasticity in 2011. Um, different situations, but mostly is a stress related issue in the brain, and it's linked to a childhood trauma. It can be domestic violence. It can be child domestic violence. It can be family abuse. It can be a lot of situations that develop stress in our brain. And how can you address that? Well, if you make that transition, whether you're 4 or you're 44, you're going to allow the brain to you are going to give your brain the opportunity to stick with the good and delete the not so good. That's called neuroplasticity. And I talk about that why you ask me, how could you, well, what's the situation behind? What's the problem? How much stress? What's happening? Can you make a change towards love, care, nurturing. And that is the core value of positive parenting. I wonder if I answered your question.
Yes, no, I think that's great because I think a lot of times people are just like, well, they're brought up in a bad home environment and it is what it is. And I'm like, but it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it
But
doesn't.
you're
And
right. The parents have to want to change that. So I'm glad that you're talking to the parents
yeah,
because it sounds like they're the ones obviously who have to change so they can change the environment for their child. And I find too, it seems to me that kids nowadays are subjected to so many adult things that I
allowed.
would
They are
never
allowed to.
see. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just different. When I was growing up, there's a whole bunch of stuff I couldn't do, didn't know about. I was very naive, way up into high school, still naive.
Hmm.
And nowadays, some things some kids will say, I'm just looking at them like, how old are you and how do you even know that?
Hmm.
Like
And the
this,
things they
this,
talk in school,
yeah,
and they think they
that's what
talk.
I've heard.
Yeah, they think they talk at school because I mean we are living. There's generational
Yeah,
gaps, transitions,
yeah,
holes, whatever you want to call it. But if you keep the core values in place, you are better prepared to handle some situations. Because every time I open a seminar, a workshop, a talk, I tell parents, listen, I'm just giving out information. I'm channel I'm trying to channel information from A to B. And the more information you have, the more educated you can be. And the more educated you can be, the more power you will have. That's one thing. Or you can look at it like the more information you have, the more tools you have, the better prepare for you the better prepared you are to be able to manage the situation. What
that
you
makes
said.
sense.
Some people say is that I'm coming from this dark place and there's no way out for me. And I have an equation and I tell them, if you have this and you have this, what do you think is going to happen? There's always, as I told you, neuroplasticity happened if you have a working brain. As long as you have a working brain, that process can happen. And I'm sure if I ask you at some point in your life, you remember when you were little, you fell down those stairs and everybody make fun of you, your instant instant answer is going to be no, I do not remember, because you truly try so hard to forget that moment in your life that the first reaction you're going to have is like, I don't remember. But you're going to remember the good birthday parties you have. If somebody took you to a really nice outing by the beach or something nice, something that you care. And then we're coming back to love, caring, and nurturing. You see what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's a cycle. It's a cycle that we just need to know about to be able to handle it.
Now that reminds me of something like my sister and I. So, we're grown adult children still now, right? And she'll say, "Remember when we were little and this thing happened?" And I'll be looking at her going,
I don't.
"No, I don't
I
at
don't
all." She's like,
remember.
"We lived in the same house all of our lives until I was 18 and 19 and married and left." And so many of her experiences, I don't remember them at all. And I'm like, how in the world can we live in the same house and have these different memories? And now that you're talking, some of the things that she has experienced were negative, and
And
somehow
we
she's
tend
held
to
on to
forget.
those, and I don't remember them at all. Like,
If
what
I
in the
tell you, let
world?
me tell you that's another example that I do with, because I teach adults. I don't deal with the kids, and I tell them, well, let's go take a break. We're gonna have a 10 minute, 5 minutes break, 10 minutes break, 20 minutes break, and I tell them every time, who's gonna make a kale salad? No one. They're gonna grab something good because you're attending the class, or you're in a seminar, or you're in a workshop. You're not gonna go make a salad. You're gonna have something good. And it's not you, it's your brain telling you, go get something good.
You can have a salad any old day of the week.
You can have a coffee, you can have a brownie, a chocolate chip cookie, something good. It's the brain telling you, go get something good.
That makes
You can
sense.
get that salad later for dinner or during the weekend when
That's
you have
right.
more time. When you have more time, but the instant um action in your brain is like, let's stick with the good and try to forget what is not so good. So it's an eye opening for many people that think that I'm just here and I need to deal with it and I can get out of here. Yes, you can, as
Oh.
long as you have a working brain.
So let's touch real quick on cell phones.
Uh-oh.
We all, as adult people, we all are always telling everybody get off the phones, walk to your, me, a big safety person, I'm always telling people get off your phone and pay attention to what's going on around you. You can talk to that person later. Just hang it up, put it away. And I know a lot of people my age, when their children come to visit them,
Mm-hmm.
they're adult children in their 30s and 40s, and they're still on their phones. And I'm like, well, why can't you be part of the conversation that's happening at this dinner table, or part of the conversation that's happening in the living room? But, why do you have to have your phone with you? I have not gotten, at least in my household, kids to put their phones in a basket. I wish I could.
Some
Hasn't
people
worked.
do. Some
I
people
know
do.
that's what I thought was funny. It's like, there just should be a rule. But there are some adult people in my household who are still on their phones too. So it's like, all right, everybody has to get on this page. But why is it, do you think, that we're so fascinated with watching videos, or, something on TikTok or something on Instagram or somebody on Facebook's? Why do we care about that more than we care about the conversations with the people right in front of us?
There's different factors. I think the main factor is there is an addiction component.
That makes sense.
We can all train our brain. If one day you're gonna get up and say, I am not gonna do this, and you do it for 20 days, 21 days or longer, you can train your brain and body to do it or not to do it.
Okay.
Works both ways. So the more you do it, the more the body response is to go look for something that has become a daily, or every 45 minutes, or every 4 hours, or 3 times a day, or it's like food. Don't you get
Yeah.
hungry every so often? It's the
Yeah.
same. We are I love to talk about the brain. I can talk about the brain forever, but we can train our brain to do anything. We can train our brain to sleep. We can train our brain to try to not to go to sleep. And the light in the phones, the context, content, information, advertising, the way marketing, it's one of the biggest empires
Yeah.
globally. So that's how they do it. Um, when I talk to the parents, they ask me, what's the best advice you can give? Because I don't counsel. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a parent educator provider. Um, I'm a certified parent educator, and the information I can give is limited to my work, and is based on work and research. So I ask them be present. That's the
Yeah.
best advice I can give you, because Becky, we're gonna close this podcast and it's gonna become history.
Yeah.
We can rewrite it. We can probably re-record it, but it's gonna be a part two,
Right.
recorded session point one. The today, the now, is not coming back. So I give them, I tell them, listen, you know what's best for you and your kids, right? Because I
Okay.
can tell you what to do with your kid. It's your kid. But based on research, based on papers, based on life experiences, based on so many factors, I can tell you, be present. Because I tell them, no, is this be present? What you want to eat here is your iPad. No, no, that be present. Be present is like, when I go to the schools and read to the kids, I tell them, can you go to their eye level? Go down to their eye level.
Yeah.
Allow them to talk, because that 4-year-old, that 6-year-old is going to become a 14 and 24-year-old. You're going to look back and and then you're going to wonder if how present were you?
Right.
And then if you transfer that trust, that opportunity for them to tell you what they want to vent, you are going to transfer that power to a different person. And how can you gain it back? How can you reel it in? I mean,
Right.
could you? I mean,
No, once it's gone, it's gone.
it takes a lot for a kid to go look for somebody else because you were not present.
Right.
And they try, but I know right now that I'm busy. I'm busy. And then they try,
Hmm.
And I tell parents, and it's that's what I love what I do, because I have always saved time to do my seminars and my parent education workshops and my talks and everything, because I really see the impact on the before and after. Because people think that you're gonna come and you're gonna sit and they're gonna tell you how to do, I don't know, baby formulas or you know parent detail information, but it's not about that. It's about parenting. It's about raising a kid the best way you can, because where is the manual to do so?
Right.
There's no one. And then people, oh, is that my mom? And I'm like, where was her manual at the time? If we go back in time, everybody is sitting there trying to figure out if they did it the right way or not, because they didn't have anybody to tell them differently. And that's scary. So if you can do better, if you can step out and try to be very simple, loving, caring, and nurturing. Because now that have you watched, what's this movie about anxiety? Inside Out too. Is it
Oh
Inside Out?
yeah. No, no, I haven't seen that, but I know what you're
Anxiety.
talking about.
Oh, you gotta see it, because now kids are cool and they can feel and they can process their information, their feelings. They're allowed to feel. They're allowed to talk. And anxiety is part of a transition in their life, and we were not given that opportunity.
Right.
We were not given that opportunity. We were supposed to
No.
like sip it, be quiet, sit
Right.
tight, please, not in front of these people. You see what I mean? Now it's
Right.
different, because emotional, intelligent kids are going to thrive in life in ways that we were not given, because our parents were not given that opportunity. They did not know that. Now,
Right.
through research, through papers, to situations, through all these massive waves of depression, anxiety problems, mental health issues, at some point, the professionals that work in those subjects say, let's wait. We need time to talk. We need time to feel sad, to feel bad, to cry. Because if you allow those emotions to run, then you're going to heal. And if you are healed, you're going to feel better. You're going to be able to thrive. Now, the kids, the younger generations, are able to do it from the get-go. Go ahead and do it.
Mhm.
Because now it's been proven that if you raise emotionally intelligent kids, they're gonna become better prepared to deal with life. And remember, you only have 18 years to set them good for life.
Right.
And
Right.
if you don't, then what you say, well, I'm 40, mom, don't tell me what to do.
Yep.
Yes, you're in my house. Just while you're in my house. So yeah, that's the beauty of like evolution. So we are coming to a place where the kids are okay to, run and some ways their emotions in a better way that we were allowed to.
Right. For sure. Well, this
Hmm.
has really been good. I really appreciate you coming on. We're already at 30 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and go. But I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this.
Thank
Uh,
you for having me.
there might be some more parenting questions we have in the future, but
Co-parenting is a huge topic,
yes.
and that's one of the most asked questions when it comes down to parenting, whether the parents are together or not. It's like, how can I improve, the bumps in the road in order for us to be able to raise this bunch of kids or that one kid in a better way. And that's very complex.
Well, we should talk about that because I know several people that are in that boat that are like, well, dad lets him do this, and mom doesn't let him do that, and nobody's on the same page, and the kids are just like
Yeah.
all up and down and all over the place. And, you know, so yes, we should talk about that. That would be a good one. All right, so we're gonna go. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for
And
having me.
you're very welcome. So for the rest of you, keep tuning in to some more podcast interviews, and we'll see you soon. Bye for
Bye.
now.
Bye bye.